And we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a bonus live stream. Dennis and I are doing a Q&A. Dennis, welcome. How are you doing today?
Doing great. Today is MacBook Day, as you said, behind the scenes. Got my new MacBook
Yes.
Pro, got some Apple AirPods for the first time, which are pretty cool. So I'm
I'm kind of
Appling myself
surprised.
out.
Yeah, I don't think, us here in the audience would have pegged you as kind of an Apple supporter, Apple purchaser, but it sounds like you really liked these new products they came out with.
I was going to say, yeah, I'm not an Apple supporter, but I can appreciate a good product, and the MacBook Pro is a good product. I even
Absolutely.
sent my first iMessage to you, Stetson.
I know. I was very shocked to hear that. Every time I send an iMessage, I just imagine this loud bing ringing out somewhere because that's the default. We've got some wonderful people in the live chat today, Dennis, and let's welcome them in here. We've got Shame tuning in. First comment, Max Tech Studios with a yeah. Max with a question, and we're doing a live Q&A. So, Max, we will get back to your question very shortly. I want to welcome Albertizzi into the chat, and thank you for being a channel member, Albertizzi. He's listening to our Q&A while wrenching on cars, so I hope that goes very well for you. We got our friend Debo Bop, per usual, calling us out for our timeliness. We're just in a different time zone. I think that's the ultimate scenario here, and you're going to have to recalibrate your clocks to that. And we got Cameron and Mo. Wow, such a great crowd. Joel is here, Darren.
Stetson, before we get too deep in anything, though, I want to give like a PSA to people.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of you guys have been messaging me on the Discord wondering where Stetson and I have been. If you guys didn't know, we actually made a new channel specifically dedicated to the podcast, aptly named Best Phone Plans. So if you guys haven't done so already and you want to make sure that you're staying up to date with different guests that we've had on or what have you, make sure you go and subscribe to the Best Phone Plans channel, which should be able to be found in the description.
It's linked in the video description. This is what it looks like. We'll help you find an affordable cell phone plan. Tons of great content in here. We actually recently had on Sherry and Chris from RV Mobile Internet Resource Center. They tuned in live from their RV. It was such a great episode. Probably one of my favorite episodes to date. I highly recommend you check it out. And yeah, it's linked in the description. Go subscribe now if you enjoy our live streams. We'll be going live there. We go live at least once a week, and we have our podcast that goes live that isn't live, but is published rather on Fridays.
Well,
So
it's live for Patreon members.
that's true, Dennis. It's live. We always do a live recording for Patreon members so you can get their questions answered. And yeah, so just make sure you go and check it out, everybody.
Cool. Now, with that out the way, where do you want to kick things off at, Stetson? You were telling me behind the scenes there was some interesting news happening in the prepaid space. You want to start there?
Let's actually, we called it a Q&A, so let's actually hit a few questions. We got to
Okay.
respect Max Tech Studios coming in clutch with the first question of the day. What do you think Verizon will do when they finally start making changes with Tracfone? Dennis, this is one of those future prediction questions. And if I put my Verizon cap on, I'm thinking there, I'm Hans Vesperg. I think we're getting Tracfone, we're getting prepaid subs. Honestly, I think they're going to just kind of ride it out. They're going to try and profit from that as much as possible. My guess is they're probably going to want to migrate customers, I don't know, to different platforms. Like, if I think Verizon and prepaid, the best options right now are US Mobile. More news on them in a bit. And I think Mobile X is going to be an interesting play. We have yet to see how that pans out.
No
But
visible in
ultimately,
this.
and Visible. So, like, Visible is cloud based. It's just, I don't know, Dennis. Like, what do you think they're going to do? I kind of just summarized that I think they're just going to try and make a lot of money from it and kind of milk it
Okay,
without
so
too many changes.
there's a couple different routes that I could see this going. Option A is Verizon essentially does nothing and is doing this for the Tracfone brand, which is highly recognized in the average consumer's mind. Option B is they try to rebrand Tracfone and make it fall under like the Visible branding or something like that. Option C is that they do some type of plan where they basically kill the prepaid market and try to convert these customers over to postpaid or Verizon prepaid direct so they can generate more revenue. And it's too early for me to tell which way it's going to end up going, because in all sincerity, AT&T, for example, has been acting very differently in this competitive market, and even Verizon has been doing some interesting things in this competitive market as time goes on. So it's hard for me to tell which way they're going to go on it.
I think what I would like to see for Tracfone is I don't think they're going to merge it with Visible. The reason I don't think that is Visible's marketing is so clear and so focused right now. It's one plan, it's unlimited everything, it's $40 a month, it's $25 a month if you get a party. That's it. I think it's great. Instead, I think with Tracfone, it does have that more prepaid focus, the flexibility in the plans. You can purchase minutes, text, and data in 3 months, 6 months, or 12-month bulk packages kind of and use it until it expires. I think they might try and improve the back-end management of that and improve just the experience of that.
Well, I'm saying Verizon would want to kill that off because it's a pain in the butt to manage. Why code in for all these different plans when you could just have one simple unlimited plan that does it all?
I guess I think the real emphasis is the price points. Like you can hit some of those lower target price points for lighter users. Otherwise, I think US Mobile is the only other MVNO kind of hitting that demographic right now in Verizon.
I mean, I've touched on this before, and I'll say it again, Stetson. I don't think Verizon cares about those super low-end users. Like, that's the reason why MVNOs like US Mobile were able to exist in their niche market, right? Like, I think if I was Verizon, I would want them all on the Visible plan, get them on that $45 plan, because not everybody's going to be smart enough to necessarily know about the party pay option to even get more reduced costs. So
they will if they watch this YouTube channel, that's for sure.
They will if they watch this YouTube channel, which there's many, many, many Tracfone people that aren't watching yet. So I'm saying that I think Verizon would want to put them on that one simple, clean plan, and it does the benefit of A, making Visible more recognizable, B, overall probably raising the amount of revenue they're making as an average, and C, it's consolidating the prepaid market into like a recognizable thing. Like look at what T-Mobile did, right? Like when the T-Mobile bought Metro PCS, right? There was T-Mobile and then there was Metro PCS. Like that's the thing that you think of when you think of prepaid network on the T-Mobile network, right? AT&T has Cricket. Verizon didn't have anybody, but they could have Visible.
Yeah, I think Visible is kind of their prepaid focus right now. I'm just reading what Max is writing. My opinion, they'll massively consolidate the brands into a few different ones. Of course, they're all on the Verizon network. Yeah, I think right now, I think Tracfone is such a strong brand name. My gut instinct is I'm Verizon, I'm Hans. Like they want to keep that around. They want Tracfone to be like the budget Verizon, the affordable, the prepaid Verizon. I hear what you're saying, Dennis, about consolidating the back end. I think they actually will keep or simplify at least. Like I think they'll keep a similar model, simplify the plans, and just consolidate the brands and the options. So maybe they have, let's say, 4 different prepaid options on Tracfone with different levels of minutes, text, and data, or different durations, something like that.
Question, though. Tracfone, we both agree, is highly recognizable as a brand, but do they have a positive connotation to them?
That's true. I feel like connotation can change, but I guess right now it's not a connotation that I feel is positive, at least for me. How, like, am I... What do you think?
That's my point, which is even more reason why I'm saying that they would want to kill the Tracfone brand and put it under the Visible umbrella, which up to this point, not super well known by the vast majority of people. Right now, Visible is sort of like this like insiders like circle, like, oh my God, can you believe it exists? Not highly recognizable by everybody. You barely see ads for it even, unless you're in some targeted advertisement thing online, right?
Yeah. So I think to answer your question, Max, I mean, your guess is as good as ours. I mean, I know you're following prepaid cell phone plans as much as we are. So we're going to have to wait and see. We'll end up seeing what happens. Dennis, we got a second question coming in here from Cameron Sacha. Forgive me if I mispronounced that. When do you think T-Mobile MVNOs will get access to their standalone 5G network? I'm on Mint and have plenty of 5G gaps in areas where they don't have bands 2 or 66 available.
I wasn't aware that Mint didn't have access to standalone.
My understanding right now is MVNOs have access to the non-standalone 5G network. At least that was true when it initially launched. It's unclear to me if they do have access to standalone, or honestly how to test that. My
I
guess,
mean,
though, Cameron would be next year. I would give that a year to kind of iron things out. I mean, T-Mobile is still in the process of migrating some of their sites over to standalone. I think it's going to be a little long of a process.
I'm just gonna say this: as far as standalone goes, there's legitimately zero reason for you want to connect to standalone, because if you do, you're probably getting locked onto band 71 single carrier just
Yep.
by itself, because there's no phones out there at the moment that can even do standalone carrier aggregation on the 5G bands. So
Yeah. So you'd just be on 71. What kind of speeds would you expect from band 71, Dennis?
are you joking?
No, I'm serious. Do
Like
you,
less than 25 megabits per second.
Okay, that's interesting. Well, the reason I'm asking is because I was doing these speed tests for this Pixel 6 Pro video, and I was like, I'm struggling to figure out if my phone is connected or not, because it'll slap a 5G icon in the status bar, but that doesn't mean it's actually connected. It just means like 5G might be available, and so knowing these kinds of speeds will be helpful. So that's interesting. I don't
Yeah,
think,
band
yeah,
71 is basically like band 12, man. It's got literally zero capacity to it. Like, it is rough.
there you go. So Cameron, our answer, I'm going with sometime next year, but you honestly may not want standalone 5G just yet. And let's see, Dennis, you want to pick the next question?
Sure. Let's go with Westerosi Ninja. He asked, any idea when US Mobile will offer postpaid priority data that they were working on?
Dennis, can you give me oh, here we go.
6:08 p.m.
6:08 p.m. What do you think, Dennis?
I'm gonna say it's US Mobile, so not for like 6 to 9 months from now. If
Coming soon, TM. I would say next year. That's if we see it by December 2022, I'll throw a mini party for myself.
But I was gonna say spicy take. I have a feeling that it doesn't happen at all.
You know what, Dennis? I don't want to agree with that. I can totally see that happening. And the reason I think so is because US Mobile is known for their low cost, affordable plans, $15, $20, $30 a month. You add priority data to that. I think, based on what we're seeing in the market right now, Xfinity Mobile's offering priority data, $15 per gig, basically, is what they're charging. I think US Mobile could do it. It would be very, very expensive. And I don't think that's going to, like, at that point, you might as well go Verizon postpaid.
2 caveats real quick. $15 a gig is semi inaccurate because it depends on what you pick, right?
Right.
Because if you do the 10 gig plan for $60, then you're not paying $15 per gig for 10 gigs in that scenario. But second thing, which I don't know if this was confirmed or not when you sent your email to our point of contact, but your testing showed that the unlimited data plan was getting priority data.
Yeah, so I was talking with our friend Chris over at Coverage Critic. What I'm testing right now, everybody, so you're aware, I'm testing Xfinity Mobile, their unlimited data plan right now. I'm on the one line $45 a month plan. My understanding is this should be deprioritized. However, I did a speed test and I was going to show, like, hey, this is what deprioritized speeds are on Xfinity Mobile versus priority on Verizon. All of a sudden, I was seeing the same speeds on both plans, neck and neck. What is going on? I tested the QCI value, found that Xfinity Mobile had QCI 8, which was getting priority data, which explained it. I think if somehow you're on a legacy plan, this might have had priority data to begin with, and then they changed it. Otherwise, I'm not sure, and we're trying to get that clarified.
Legacy plans definitely did have priority data, so first gen and second gen did. Third gen is supposed to be quote unquote deprioed, but
Yeah.
that's the plan that you're testing right now because second gen and first gen don't exist anymore.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's what I experienced, and I can share my experiences. To answer the Westerosi Ninja's question, I think looking at pricing here, Dennis, let's say maybe it's $10 a gig.
That sounds more right.
Do you think US Mobile could bundle in partial priority data with non-partial priority data?
Well, I mean, they could, but like they could do something like 22 gigabytes priority, then deprioritize or something like that. Sure, but like
I'm thinking, like, what if they could dynamically pull from that, like, a separate stash? Like, what if you got a plan? It's US Mobile's $15 5 gig plan. To get priority data, maybe it's $25, and you get the first gig, or you get a gigabyte of premium data. and maybe there's a switch or something that you can toggle it on in your settings.
Too complicated, not good for user experience, doesn't make sense. If they did it, it would be in a more traditional sense, like 10 gigs of priority, then throttle down to X speed, or then deprioed, like what we see right now with, like, say, a Verizon postpaid plan, where it says like 50 gigs of priority and then deprioed. Look, my reason why I'm saying it doesn't happen is because I don't think it makes,
it's not going to make economic sense.
Yeah, I just don't think there's a like, our audience, okay, we're all super fans. We're all interested in this kind of thing, right? The everyday consumer does not know what priority data is, nor do they care. And
yeah, people are on T-Mobile Essentials. That's how you know.
And I don't honestly think it's going to matter too much for the targeted demographic that US Mobile was shooting for. Like, to be clear here, I think priority data is pretty important, especially on the Verizon network, because, you know, Carlos was nice enough to give me Los Mobile access, which gets priority data access on Verizon. And my experience with Verizon on using Los Mobile access versus US Mobile access is night and day different. Like, I have a totally different perception of what the Verizon network is like because of that. That being said, not every market is like mine. There are plenty of markets where Verizon has lots of capacity, where being deprioritized doesn't really matter, in the same way that Stetson lives in a market that has really good T-Mobile coverage, and, you know, he has N41 that is just blanketed his house beautifully, so being prioritized or not doesn't matter because the capacity is there. And as C-band gets rolled around from Verizon, I think priority data is going to matter even less once C-band becomes widely deployed from Verizon.
Great points. So I think we're actually going to bet against priority data on US Mobile. Instead, I would encourage you to comment about Wi-Fi calling on Super LTE, the Verizon network. I think
5G support.
And 5G. Dennis, actually, let's dive into that. We have some groundbreaking news. Check this out. US Mobile today launched beta access to their ultra wideband 5G network, specifically Verizon's ultra wideband 5G network. So this just came out today, October 28th, literally before we started recording this. And yeah, they're finally getting it. It's finally here. It's in beta. They're rolling it out to some customers, and hopefully that continues to accelerate as the beta test moves on. But it's finally here.
Ahmed, if you're watching, double thumbs up, my man.
Double thumbs up. Also, I'm lucky enough to have a line on US Mobile. I have the beta. I haven't made it to a Verizon site yet because I got it like yesterday, and I'm like still need to test it out. But I'm really excited to be sharing speed tests soon on US Mobile ultra wideband. And I think there's a lot of questions here. Like, Max was talking about the 75 gig cap on US Mobile's unlimited plan. So do you get truly unlimited data on ultra wideband? What happens if you hit 75 gigabytes? Do you get throttled to that 1 megabit per second you're used to? What is video streaming like? So I think a lot of questions that have yet to be answered about 5G warp speeds.
These are great questions, and my hypothesis is it's going to be a similar experience to what happened when you were on Xfinity Mobile whenever you reached, like, where it didn't count against your actual data bucket.
Yeah. I think ultra wideband is in a league of its own. And what has me excited, and we were talking about this behind the scenes, Dennis, but the fact that ultra wideband isn't counting against priority data or data usage on Xfinity Mobile, likely US Mobile, it's what we're guessing, has me really excited for C-band and when that is rolled out, because that's getting bundled into that ultra wideband branding that Verizon has.
Yeah, and I just want to say, ultra wideband's fantastic. I really hope that it actually gets even more widespread as far as coverage goes, because I don't know if you agree with me, Stetson, but I find it game changing.
It's really huge. Honestly, I think the biggest game changer about it is the fixed wireless use case right now. Just because I feel like from a cellular perspective, I can be line of sight of the tower or like very close to the tower, and the phone will disconnect. And so I think
it is not like that here, Stetson. I don't know if you watched my stream, Stetson, but I was walking a good bit.
And you're still keeping it? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know what they're doing in Denver, man. Like, maybe the nodes they're putting up aren't as optimized, but
I mean, dude, it's incredible. And Carlos was talking about how it's literally getting put up on legit highways, like in the median type of highway. So like it's nice, and I agree the fixed wireless aspect is definitely the most exciting part in the short term of our minds, because we can all clearly benefit from that. But Dude, I would love to live in a world where ultra wideband is so ubiquitously accessible that I could just turn on my hotspot, not have to connect to crappy Starbucks Wi-Fi, and bang out
Yeah.
whatever I have to do on the computer. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
man, so good. Uh, let's see. Mikhail said, "Did you guys see US Mobile's rolling out 5G beta to customers?" Yes, I have that. I'll be testing that soon. Dennis, do you want to pick another question to go from here?
Yeah, I will do my best. Trying to see if there's any that stick out to me. And by stick out, I need to actually scroll up because I get distracted when I'm talking and
Hey,
don't.
I'm gonna pick one from Jimmy really quickly because it ties in nicely. Jimmy's asking, which US Mobile should I use, Verizon SIM or T-Mobile SIM? Jimmy, that's going to come down to what network has better coverage in your area. Although I will say, if you have good T-Mobile coverage in your area, you may want to consider Mint Mobile. Their pricing I find to be a little bit better. If you have good Verizon coverage, US Mobile all the way. And honestly, it's one of my favorite Verizon MVNOs at this point.
I was actually so I agree with what you just said, but as far as to the scope of this actual question, I think if you're going US Mobile, you have to pick the Verizon SIM.
I think T-Mobile does have Wi-Fi calling right now, but other than that,
I
I think
I T-Mobile's lacking though as far as like the overall
like
feature
feature
support.
package, yeah. I think I'm not 100%. I tried testing it and I thought 5G was working, but I saw some people on Reddit kind of reporting issues with that. I think US Mobile best experience is Verizon SIM. That's what I'll say.
Um, let's see. Oh man, I there's so many comments coming in. It's been a while since it's been like this. Okay, this one's from 6:13 p.m. from Trevin.
Yeah.
He asked, do we think that people choosing not to upgrade to 5G phones for a couple more years will see better performance on their 4G LTE phones that they chose to keep around? I'm going to go first. It's going to be highly dependent on what network you're using. If you're using T-Mobile, LTE performance has been getting dramatically worse, in my experience. And the reason that it's been getting dramatically worse is for a compound reason of factors. One is that all the new spectrum that T-Mobile is acquiring and all the upgrades that are happening are being focused solely on 5G at the moment. And T-Mobile never had a strong LTE network to begin with. And with all these legacy devices that are being connected on there, coming from Sprint customers they acquired and so forth, the networks are very congested on the LTE bands. Two, in the future, we're going to see more and more spectrum be taken away from the LTE bands and repurposed for 5G, which is what has happened in the past when we saw generational leaps. As such, there's going to be less capacity on those LTE connections than what you were used to seeing, even as traffic gets offloaded. And the third thing I just want to say is, and this is the reason why I say it depends, is that in the case of networks like AT&T, I don't think it's going to necessarily matter because AT&T right now doesn't really have a 5G presence. I mean, they're doing N2 and N5 depending on market, but outside of that, the LTE actually is typically performing better because of the 5-way carrier aggregation and because of the features that are there. So it highly depends, but as a general rule of thumb, I feel like we've reached the tipping point now where it is worthwhile that if you're going to be getting a new phone, to be focusing on a 5G phone, because the benefits generally are there for the most part across the carriers. T-Mobile especially is benefiting the most. Verizon is definitely going to be benefiting once C-band rolls around, and if you are one of the lucky people that lives in a millimeter wave market, it's definitely worthwhile. And then AT&T, similar to what I said about Verizon, will be deploying C-band at some point, and plus they have the extra capacity they've been adding from the Dish agreement, where I still think it's worthwhile to be looking at a 5G phone because it's going to have that better antenna and it's going to have the wider band of sports that's necessary for these new frequencies.
Yeah, I think pretty much everything Dennis just said. I mean, I think the thinking here, Trevin, is that as there are more and more 5G users, the LTE network becomes less and less congested. I think, as Dennis said, carriers are just migrating as much spectrum as possible to 5G. That is the future. In 5 years, pretty much everything will be 5G. So I don't think it'll be better. If anything, I think LTE will be about the same. AT&T LTE continues to be great, so maybe that will be a different story. I think for T-Mobile, 5G is 100% the way to go, and Verizon 5G. I mean, that's what they're betting on. That's what they're building right now.
Well, Stats, the thing that we got to remember is that as more people go over to 5G, so does the spectrum from LTE being used now.
Yeah, because the 5G network will otherwise become congested, so they need to build that out and migrate everything over.
Right, like if in the best example of this would be try connecting to HSPA Plus today on T-Mobile's network if it's still around you, and seeing how it performs. Guarantee that it's not going to be the 42 megabits per second that we were amazed with back in the day when they had allocated like a 15 megahertz chunk to it, right? Because they probably reduced it down to 5 megahertz. In the same way with Sprint customers right now, Sprint had, say, 40 megahertz of band 41 deployed with like 10 megahertz of band 25 and maybe 5 of band 26 or something, right? But if you look and connect to a Sprint site now, they've cut it down to maybe 20 megahertz of band 41, 5 megahertz of band 25, and like 2.5 megahertz of band 26. Like they have cut it down as they repurpose that spectrum for the T-Mobile native network on 5G. So there's less capacity there, even if there is less customers connecting, it's going to still be slower.
So there you go, Trevin. Hopefully that helps answer your question. If you are considering keeping your LTE phone, it should continue to work fine for the next couple of years. As Dennis mentioned, if you're thinking about getting a new phone, I think getting a 5G phone is going to be the way. And you're going to want to consider getting one that has C-band, which Chaim is actually pointing out. You can find a Pixel 5, which has C-band for $335 on Swappa.
If you're getting a Pixel, I highly encourage just getting the Pixel 6.
Yeah, it's really, really nice. Definitely a good upgrade. But, it depends kind of what price budget you're on and what you're looking for. Insane Fire 10 YT says, I love the thumbnail. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
That was Stetson's idea this time around. So
thank you. Insane Fire, does the iPhone 12 series have C-band? Ooh.
I think so, yeah.
We think so.
I'm like 95% sure.
So, yeah. C-band, I think it's band 48, and it's like in the 40s, I think.
I believe so.
Yeah. So you may want to double check that to confirm.
iPhone 13 for sure.
Yeah. Oh, this is interesting. The Jaffa meme. What plans do you guys main?
That doesn't change much for me.
Yeah, this is like the question that doesn't change at all. My active lines change. My main line's on Mint. Dennis, your main line's on AT&T, but you're actually on Magenta Max.
My main line is on Magenta Max T-Mobile.
Gotcha.
That's the one I call and text you on. Then my secondary main line is on AT&T Elite.
Right. Oh, it's because AT&T is bad with Android phones.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Gotcha. Oh man, you know what's funny? I'm working on this speed test video right now. Pixel 6 Pro versus Galaxy S21 versus iPhone 13. And yeah, let's just say iPhone had the best performance on AT&T, and that's not a surprise to me right now.
Yeah, now I want to say I actually should say my usage habits have changed a little bit. I have been using this iPhone more than I've ever used it since I've got it because of two main reasons: the LOS access and the support for dual SIM.
And eSIM, yeah.
Yeah, eSIM. So I've been personally using AT&T, my Elite plan, with LOS Mobile Verizon access for the data.
Ooh, that's so nice.
That's what I've been doing a lot of. The problem is that I don't actually communicate with the numbers on this phone. Like what I do is I use digits.
Yeah.
And then if I need to text somebody, I just use the digits so I can text that main number that we talked about.
Yeah.
But honestly, what I've been thinking about more and more and more as time goes along is just popping out the T-Mobile SIM, plopping it into this iPhone, and then just putting the AT&T SIM on eSIM is what I've been thinking about doing. Or also as a thought, and this has been a thought that has been swirling around in my mind, is how much do I actually need T-Mobile? Do I just port it over to AT&T and call it a day? That has been a thought that I've been consistently debating with, especially because I want to take advantage of new customer promos that I can't get otherwise. But
yeah. I mean, if I were you, I would definitely consider it. Consolidate, reduce that monthly bill. And look, T-Mobile isn't going anywhere, Dennis. You can always get Magenta Max and you can get one line for less than you're paying right now. So something to consider. Chame is coming in clutch with some info here. iPhone 12 and 13 have C-band. Pixel 5, 6, S21 and later are all C-band compatible. And thank you for the correction here, Chame. N48 is CBRS spectrum, and N77, N78, and N79 are all the C-bands.
Wait, why is Galaxy S20 Plus not in that list? If the iPhone 12 has it, shouldn't the Galaxy S20 Plus?
So I saw a previous comment. They actually need to recertify on Verizon in order to get C-band approved, is what I was seeing. So, here we go. Grizzogore, if you were to choose a new mid-range 5G phone to upgrade to, what would you choose? I'm kind of thinking Pixel 5a. It's a great question. I guess what's a mid-range budget? Yeah, what's the budget, Grizzogore, for mid-range? I think, honestly, Dennis, I would skip Pixel 5a. I think you can get
6.
Well, I think Pixel 6 might be pushing the budget of what Grizzogore is looking for. I would consider Grizzogore go Pixel 4a 5G, which is virtually identical to Pixel 5a at a lower price, or go gently used Pixel 5 on SwapUp. That's what I think would be the move, because Pixel 5, you're getting millimeter wave support, you're getting C-band support, and yeah.
So I have a couple takes on this. Samsung Galaxy A52 5G, I believe.
Yeah.
Is a decent choice. Okay. Below 500 or 600 possibly, he said. How much does a Pixel 6 go for, man?
Pixel 6 is $600 on the dot.
Then yeah, Pixel 6 is the best choice.
Look, Grizzlegore, I would go gently use Pixel 5 if you want to save some money, but I think getting Pixel 6, it'll last a lot longer. It's got way better cameras,
better performance.
So that's, if you can save up for a couple of extra months, that's probably what I would go for. I mean, Pixel 6 is just gorgeous.
Plus, we all know the Pixel 6 is going to drop in price anyway. Just give it a couple months. That thing is going to tank, and you can easily probably find it on SwapUp. Not
even a couple months, Dennis. I mean, I think demand's pretty high now. I would consider just wait for Black Friday, Grizzlegore, and maybe try and grab a deal. Google will do some kind of deal undoubtedly on Pixel 6, and maybe it's more of a bundle than an actual discount, but that's probably what I would go for. Or as I mentioned before, more of a budget Pixel 4a 5G. Let's just get a price on that.
And by the way, I just want to clarify, Galaxy A52 5G wouldn't be bad. It's $500.
Yeah. This is the 4a 5G right here.
If you want to pop up the A52 so they can see it, it looks clean. Like, even though it's a mid-ranger, like, it looks like it has the flagship feel. It's got a 6.5-inch screen, great battery life, decent processor. I mean, it's a mid-ranger, but decent processor. I mean, it's a clean looking phone, and it does support 5G, which is good. I was possibly thinking about Motorola.
Yeah, I haven't seen what they've been doing.
Well, Motorola came out with a like a Note-esque like phone. I'm trying to give me like 2 seconds here.
Yeah. Dennis is going to pull that up. Dennis, you look for that. I'm going to field another question in the audience. Any testing and opinions on Red Pocket? So Insane Fire, I'm testing Red Pocket. This is kind of embarrassing to admit. I've been testing them probably for the past year. Okay. I've probably given at least $300 to Red Pocket and all the plans I've had. So this is my version of coming soon. I think the bottom line with Red Pocket is you get what you pay for. It's low cost. The service works. Customer service can be hit or miss. Some people have had good experiences. Some people have had different experiences. But I think it's probably the best low-cost option on AT&T, hands down. And it's a great low-cost option if you're looking for annual plans on Verizon or T-Mobile. They also have some super great low-usage plans, like $2.50 a month as like an emergency phone, something like that. That's what I'll say on Red Pocket. It works. It gets the job done, but it's not US Mobile. It's not Mint Mobile in terms of overall quality from my testing.
So I sent to you in Discord real quick, man. I sent you the Xfinity version of it because they have great breakdown of the band support very cleanly, which is appreciated.
Oh, this is looking really nice.
Yeah, if you were someone that like appreciated the Note but don't want to pay Note kind of money, I found this to be an interesting device.
Looks like it's got 4 cameras on the back, probably your ultra wide, your telephoto.
Well, if you scroll down, it's very well laid out, which is the reason why I used this site, because it was clean.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Xfinity did a good job with the description. Look at the band support though specifically.
So let's go here. Oh, wow.
It's
Oh,
got
this is
support.
awesome.
It's got support for like every band that matters.
Every band that matters. It doesn't look like it has the C-band spectrum, but that's probably going to be okay.
I mean,
Wait, how much is this?
It's a
370 bucks?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That looks great. And has it got the fingerprint reader on the back? That's where it should be. That's where it should be, everybody. We have a super chat from our friend that I want to call out and thank for. Green, thank you so much for joining us today on our live Q&A. Green, no question, looks like just a comment. Does Pixel 6, oh, this is a question, there's no question mark. Does Pixel 6 Pro have better 5G band support than the S21? I think it's the same. I don't think there's any difference.
Actually, small caveat. S21 band support depends on the firmware. Right. So short answer, Pixel 6 Pro is great because it's stock, it's unlocked, it's looking fantastic. Otherwise, yes, it's technically the same, but if you get like certain carrier versions of the phone, certain bands might not be enabled.
Yeah. And thank you again, Green, for your support and super chat. Insane Fire 10 YouTube coming in. Yeah, agree. Quality could be better, but overall experience has been okay. Like, you get what you pay for. It's a great low cost option. That is Red Pocket. And West Romsey is saying that C-band certification costs money, so not surprised Moto doesn't have those bands. And I think, Dennis, this is what's actually going on with the S20 lineup in general, is I think they have the bands and they need the certification.
Yeah, probably ain't going to happen knowing Samsung.
Oh, we got a question coming in from Douglas Wright. I'm heavily considering switching to AT&T Prepaid, especially with their $25 per month 8 gig of priority data to save on gigabytes. What would be your best recommendations besides simply using Wi-Fi whenever possible?
Short answer is that there is not a good recommendation to avoid using data without using Wi-Fi. Long answer is sure, there's things you can do, but it's going to kind of hamper your mobile experience a little bit. One thing that is simple is either don't watch video when you're on cellular, or if you do watch video, watch in like 480p. That uses significantly less data than, say, doing a 1080p stream or higher. Don't have background refresh on. That's going to use data when your apps are calling for updates and push notifications, things like that. But again, if you do that, it means you're also not going to get alerted. Say someone messaged you on Snapchat, right? So it's a trade-off. Long story short, use Wi-Fi. Like, that is the answer. I know it's not the one you want to hear, but yeah, that's the answer.
Douglas, I would say to kind of go off of what Dennis was saying, like, you can literally go in your settings and disable cellular data use for like on a per app basis. That does hamper your experience. I know, like my mom, for example, has like gone in to use, let's say, Google Maps and be like, why is this not working? It's because she was trying to save on data and had turned off cellular data access. And it's annoying to like flip back and forth to turn things on and turn things off. I would encourage you. Yeah, it really does come down to that Wi-Fi access. I know I'm on Xfinity Mobile right now, and I think you have Xfinity Internet. You get access to their hotspots. Is that correct?
19 million of them. Yep.
Yeah, that's actually been really, really good for me. I get it at the gym I work out at. I get it at the Starbucks that I go to in the morning. And well, I haven't really gone there in the morning, but I get it at Starbucks.
You're going to basically get it everywhere. That's like a restaurant or a business.
Like McDonald's. Like it's very surprising. So maybe that's something to consider.
I mean, yeah, I don't know who your ISP is, but you know, Wi-Fi hotspots aren't exclusive to Xfinity. I think Spectrum, to a smaller degree, has something like that as well. I know Armstrong had something like that as well, again, but Armstrong's smaller. But take advantage of Wi-Fi. I think the biggest thing is just the video consumption. Like, most things you're going to do aren't going to use that much data that you really got to matter, aside from video consumption.
I think it's video and podcasts for me take up a lot. So like pre-download before you go out, turn on offline maps, things like that.
Yeah, I mean, browsing Facebook and social media ain't gonna use that much, and even the podcast, if it's audio only, isn't that bad. Like if it's just the video aspect of it.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I was driving cross country, so I was like banging them out like 10, 12 per day or something like that. So let's go. Dennis, you want to pick the next one? If you have one.
Sure. We'll do Mikhail because that's the one I noticed quickly. It's at 6:39. He says, question: from what he's seen, that the Pixel 6 and Pro don't look great. Any downside to buying from T-Mobile and getting unlocked afterwards versus unlocked to begin with? Does firmware disable the bands even? So Mikhail, one thing that's important to talk about is the Pixel 6 specifically has two different models to it. One that supports millimeter wave 5G and the whole gambit of the 5G suite. Another one that only supports the sub 6 gigahertz 5G, which is sold by T-Mobile. So if you get a normal Pixel 6 through T-Mobile, it won't have millimeter wave support, which is kind of a downer, especially if you're trying to use the phone with someone like Verizon, who has been aggressively deploying millimeter wave. I will also just say that there's not necessarily a downside to having an unlocked later, but if you buy through someone like AT&T, you're actually going to be paying more for the phone than all the other carriers. So in that scenario, you'd just be better off going straight through Google if you're going for specifically the Pixel 6. Now, as far as the Pixel 6 Pro, it doesn't matter. Get it however you want. It's going to have the full suite of spectrum regardless. It's just one model that's made.
Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, I think in your situation, it probably doesn't matter. The only way to get a millimeter wave Pixel 6 is to buy it from AT&T or Verizon, and it is $100 more. If you get the 6 Pro, it doesn't matter. All options are great. And there's no firmware that's going to be disabling bands. The phone will just only work on T-Mobile until you are able to get it unlocked. And I actually got an unlocked, I got my first locked phone, Dennis. It was the iPhone 13 Pro. Took advantage of a Verizon trade-in deal, and it's super annoying for me. I really don't like it. I can't use any eSIMs with it. So I'm just like trying to ride out these 60 days, and then I can finally move everything over to that phone. And
Isn't that the literal worst? You have an eSIM and you literally can't use it for what an eSIM is designed around.
It is the worst. You are 100% correct. Yeah. I don't think anyone else understands that, but I'm glad this community can. Well,
I mean, imagine if you traveled, right? You couldn't even use the darn thing unless you got like a temporary travel unlock.
Exactly. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Man, we're getting a lot of new people in. While you guys are here, just make sure you're smashing that like button, by the way. It helps out a lot.
Yeah, I'm seeing 37 likes and over 100 concurrent viewers. If you could take 1 second and press that like button right now, that would be great. We would super appreciate it.
But
Mikayo's saying at least it's only 60 days, and AT&T would be 36 months.
Well, he's talking about the financing because
and getting it. I think AT&T, you might be able to get it unlocked sooner, but that's when it's paid off after 36 months.
No, part of the requirement is having it paid off first.
Oh my God, 33 years? Oh,
you mean 3 years?
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. 3 years.
Chris asked any news on iPhone 13 deals.
Oh, Dennis, you hit me up with some news on iPhone 13 deals. I think the biggest one, or maybe it was something else. Maybe it was on Twitter, but I think Verizon is offering a new switcher deal.
Oh yeah, $1,000 if you switch over from AT&T or T-Mobile.
Which, funny enough, is exactly what T-Mobile is offering.
Well, actually, to be more specific, they will pay your phone off if you're financing your phone to switch over, which is actually even better yet because
then you can get it unlocked.
Right. I was also thinking. So here's another reason why I was thinking about leaving T-Mobile. I was thinking I could leave T-Mobile, port my number over to AT&T, get a new phone through AT&T, and then come back to T-Mobile and have them pay it off.
I think there is an off-network requirement of like 120 days or something
90
like
days.
That. 90 days. Okay, so you thought about that. So that'd be like 3 months on AT&T. Plus you're paying for a new line. I mean, you got activation fees. You're going at least like $85
Dude,
a month.
No, I would be adding it to my dad's plan and only be paying like $20.
Oh, you can do that and take advantage of the promo?
Uh-huh.
Can you get a free phone from doing that too?
Yeah. I was gonna do it to get the Pixel 6 Pro.
I would definitely consider trading in like your iPhone 10. You have a 10R? You have an 11. That's what I was thinking of. I would trade in that and do it 100%.
Yeah. No, yeah.
And just ride it out with AT&T, like not a problem.
I was gonna do the iPhone 11, do the Google 6 Pro, and just
it's free. Like here's my analysis. I typically don't recommend people doing these trade-in deals, but Dennis is on a family plan, so it's different. And I'm actually on a family plan with someone I met on Reddit. And the reason this made sense to me is even though I'm locked in, I really hope that the person checked the 24-month financing option, but it's either 24 months or 30 months. But even after 30 months, the iPhone 13 Pro will have at least $300 to $400 of value. We'll call it $300 of value. And I can then sell it. And I'm like, I basically got a free phone for 3 years. And I'm totally fine with that. So...
Wow.
Oh
my goodness, Green. Thank you again for the super chat. He says, I'm on both AT&T Elite and T-Mobile Magenta Max. AT&T T-Mobile just turned...
I think and
T-Mobile just turned on N41 near my house, and I'm getting over 100 megabits per second on AT&T now. I'm getting over 700 megabits per second at my house with T-Mobile. So if I'm understanding this correctly, you're saying AT&T gets 100 megs at your house, and thanks to N41, T-Mobile is giving you 700 megabits per second at your house.
That's how I'm understanding it too. Yeah. Green. Wow. Thank you so much for the super chat.
Oh, Breaking Bad. Breaking Data. Sorry.
Thinking of the TV show.
Gotta run. Glad to finally get to watch again. Hey, thank you for coming up, man, and thank you for the super chat as always. It means a lot, and it's what makes part of doing what we do that much easier and possible, specifically for Stetson, who has been paying outrageous amounts for all these plans.
You don't want to know. I got a review. That's what's coming next. I have to get over this, some speed tests, some urgent content, and then you gotta get reviews.
And you gotta get that T-Mobile home internet before your Xfinity runs out.
Yep, I think 1 month exactly. So they installed it on September 15th. So maybe, I don't know. We'll see what happens. So yeah, and also back to Green's message, I think T-Mobile honestly is probably the network for you at this point with N41 in your area. And I know you love watching those 8K video streams. I think the 700 megabit per second performance on T-Mobile in your market is just going to be great.
Well, to steal a page out of the man, the myth, the legend, T-Mobile Tech, who's in the chat, AT&T is the Centurion network, i.e. always getting over 100 megabits per second. And even at 100 megabits per second, that is pretty freaking good, if I'm not wrong. You know what I mean?
It is really good. And you just want to make sure you get the 4K option.
What's urgent content?
Oh, I said after urgent content. I mean, I can give you a sneak preview. This is what I've been working on. Let's see. I'll pull it on this one. So as a super sneak preview.
Yeah, we're gonna answer this. Then Just Cozy or Just Cause will answer your question next. I got you, man.
Let's see. Just slapped it over here. You got to be careful with these things sometimes. But bam, been working on my speed test video. This is what the graphics are looking like. I'm making all custom graphics for this. So, there was an embargo for Pixel 6 Pro, a date before we could all share content. That was Monday, it turns out. And I wanted to have this done by then, which was kind of a joke. I spent the past 2 days driving around Longmont, Colorado, going to different locations, trying to figure out where different 5G bands were to give you the best and most comprehensive breakdown possible. So that is what I'm working on. I want to have this live while Pixel 6 Pro is relevant. People are searching for it and things like that. Then as Patreon members know, we got to do that Los Mobile review. I think it's finally time. And then from there, got to review some of these other plans. So that's really it. Also, there's a Visible deal. I don't know if I'll have time to make a video on it, but I definitely want to show that.
Well, on the topic of Visible, that relates to Just Cause's question, which is right above the one you highlighted. He asked if we were affected by the Visible breach.
Ooh, so Just Cause. Dennis, are you on Visible?
I have never once had them.
Never once had them. I'm on them. I'm paying $5 a month. Should we do a quick party pay update? I love doing these.
Pause. How are you only paying $5 a month?
I have referrals. So the way Visible works, obviously you missed the video I did on it because you're not a Visible customer, but the way Party Pay works, $25 a month. And then if you refer friends, you can refer up to 12 friends and you pay $5 for 1 month for each friend you refer. I have referred 12 friends, probably many more than 12 friends at this point who use my code. So thank you very much. I keep it active, the line active for $5 a month so I can keep my party going. And Party Pay update, Dennis, any guesses?
I'm going to guess 30,000 people.
Oh, that's too optimistic. Guys, I'm proud to say we just passed, how do I add this in? 10,000 members.
Okay. I had the right amount of digits, just the wrong number in the front.
Yeah. I think we're number 2. I think Reddit still has us. Reddit upvote has us beat by a lot. But I am very happy with this. If you want to join Visible, they are doing a promo right now, which is what I was just talking about. And you can use code TREAT that gets you 2 months of Visible for $15 each plus a free accessory. That's linked in the video description if you want to check it out. And then to answer your question, Just Cause, affected by the Visible breach, I'm on Visible as a customer, and seeing the breach honestly freaked me out. Like, it could have been me as far as I'm concerned. And for those of you who may be unfamiliar with the breach, basically what happened was it wasn't as bad as T-Mobile. No customer information was leaked or dispersed. But what happened is unauthorized individuals got the account email and password to certain Visible accounts, logged into those accounts, changed the account email, so all future emails and notifications would go to them, then placed an order for an expensive phone. Typically, it was the new iPhone 13 Pro or something like that, which charged the payment method on file for those customers. And they were basically out $800 to $1,000 and very upset with Visible. And they couldn't log in. They couldn't change their password. Sometimes they're having service issues. So it was bad.
The response was the worst part.
Yeah. Visible needs to improve their customer service and support. So I'm thankful I was not affected. I feel very bad for anyone who was impacted by this, not only for potentially losing a lot of money, but for having to spend hours on hold trying to reach Visible customer service and support, trying to get a resolution. And I think a lot of people ended up filing with the FCC, and that sort of helped move things along. I could be mistaken. It might be like a Bureau of Investigation or something like that. Reddit has much more information on this. So I'm thankfully okay. And yes, Emia has the answer. It's privacy.com. I'll pull this up now so you can take a look. And basically, it's a free website that lets you create virtual credit cards. And these cards are ones that you can restrict to a single merchant, that you can have monthly limits on. So the moment I saw this Visible hack, I went ahead, I created a privacy.com card for Visible. I set the limit to $40 a month, and then I added that as my payment method. So anytime someone tries to make a payment in my account, it's limited to $40. So that's what I did.
So before we go on to answer a question that caught my eye that's pretty easy to answer, and some of these incredible super chats, I want to take a quick moment to tell everybody that's coming in later into this stream that if you guys are enjoying this style of content and you're wondering where it's been, Stetson and I have made a new channel aptly named Best Phone Plans, where all Best Phone Plans content going forward is being uploaded to. We recently had on some incredible guests from the best
RV Mobile Internet Resource Center.
Thank you. They were Chris and Sherry. It's definitely one of our best episodes to date. Lots of great information in there. We got to be a little bit geekier than normal, and it's something that I highly encourage you guys check out, and definitely subscribe to the channel. It would be really good for us, and it's great because I actually have access. There's a couple live streams of me doing texting in Pittsburgh that I did live by myself that are also relatively interesting to watch if you were curious a little bit more about me personally. So definitely subscribe to that channel, which can be found in the video description below. with that being said, Stetson, if you could highlight a comment from Murky at 6:49 p.m., he asked, how do we know what band we're connected to?
Yeah, so hang on. You said 41?
6:49.
49. Oh, wow. Sorry to go back a little bit. You guys are, boom.
All right, so how do we know what band we're connected to? It's pretty easy, actually. It depends a little bit on the phone that you're using, but if you're on a Samsung device, you can enter the short code.
I've done this so much.
Star pound 0011 pound star. No. I have to look at.
You got it almost 90%, Dennis.
I have to look at it. Hold on, let me just look at my phone real quick.
It's just pound. It just ends in pound.
Oh, sorry. That's right. Yeah, so it's star pound 0011 pound, and you'll get into a service mode that looks like this, where you can see.
I'm going to full screen you, Dennis.
You get into a service mode like this, which will let you see what band you're connected to. You'll be able to see the RSRP and lots of other useful information. If you're an iPhone user, you can do something fairly similar, although Apple's version of it is not necessarily.
It's really bad.
Well, it's a lot better in iOS 15, that is for sure. To go into service mode on an iPhone, it's star 3001 pound 12345 pound star. And you'll get. I didn't want to call it.
Yeah.
But you'll get put into a mode that looks like this, which I'm going to show here. And you can, again, sort of see like what bands you're connected to and different stuff like this. It's not really as accurate or as interesting as Samsung's flavor of it, but it's pretty decent. And then for other Android phones, they also have something similar, but again, it's not nearly as robust as what Samsung's doing. Also on the Android space, there's actually apps that exist that also let you see it without having to go into these service modes. Specifically, the map I'm alluring to is, I think it's aptly called Cell Mapper. Yeah, Cell Mapper. And you can see the bands that you're connected to with that.
I missed this one. I was right on the other one, but it's pound star at the end of this one.
Mm-hmm. I have it saved as a contact because I never remember it.
Yeah, me too. I put it in my favorites. The bummer is you can't call the contact. You actually have to copy the number and paste it in.
All right, let's answer these super chats that came in, and then I have another question I want to highlight. So Ishi, first off, thank you so much for the support. He says, my unlocked iPhone 12 Pro and US Mobile Verizon combo is goated. I literally pay $11 a month with my Netflix perk for unlimited data, talk, and text. There's 3 lines on my plan currently. Well, Ishi, I'm so glad that you were able to snag such a great deal that works out for you. I'm sure Stetson feels the same way, seeing as he's like the father of savings with MVNOs at the moment. And it sounds like you got a pretty sick setup. If you can get one more line, I think you should be able to actually get an extra perk from one of the different categories that you can take advantage of. Maybe get some Xbox Live or PlayStation Plus for free if that's your jam. So
yeah, Ishi, you bring a smile to my face. I'm so happy to hear you're not only saving money with US Mobile, but that you're also getting Netflix for free. I think that's awesome. In fact, honestly, I should probably join with my parents or something, and because I'm on US Mobile all the time, and we should get unlimited $25 a month. But anyway, that's besides the point. I'm really happy you are saving money. Yeah, that's just so great. We also got our friend Green coming back. If I can get millimeter wave from Verizon, I can have the trifecta on cellular networking in my area. Just a guess. Just really lucky. No need for Wi-Fi for me. Honestly, Green, you probably don't even need Wi-Fi if you got T-Mobile N41 in your area. I mean, Dennis and I know reliability on that, and ping times also play a factor, but I think for casual use, you're probably going to be okay. Green, my question, I think you've answered this. Are you 12 Pro Max for your phone? Like, where are you putting all these lines? You almost need an iPhone 13 because you got 2 eSIMs. So you can slap on like T-Mobile and Verizon on eSIM and then use one more like AT&T.
No, that's not how it works. It's still restricted to dual SIMs. That's it.
Well, you can have all 3 with you at once and you just toggle them on and off in the settings.
Well, you could do that right now with an iPhone 12 Pro Max.
Oh, I guess that's true. I guess, but I guess it's like more flexibility with dual eSIM because you could do your two eSIMs and then one eSIM and one physical with your 12 Pro. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. But
anywho, Sneed had a funny comment, and I was hoping that we could highlight it and see if maybe I can get the joke because it went whoosh over my head. Stetson officially reached 39% penetration. He's 6 months away from becoming part owner of his possible co-CEO. Can you allure what he means by this?
I'm not even. Maybe is it because of my party Sneed? I mean, if I were to guess, like maybe I'm at 39% total members on Visible or something. And then if I get enough members, I'll be a part-time owner. I don't know. I'm guessing Sneed. I honestly no idea. Possible co-CEO. I mean, it'd be cool, but then all my content would be biased, so I can't do that. But
well, you could do what Linus did, where how he invested in
that computer company that builds your own computer.
Yeah, I'm blanking on their name, but you could just do like a full disclosure. Honestly, here's a spicy hot take question before we address one of their questions, Stetson. If a cell phone company came out and did something truly revolutionary, where you were like, you know what, I gotta back this, would you put your money where your mouth is and just slap the gauntlets down and like invest like Linus did?
Yeah, I mean, I can't afford to do what kind of investment Linus did. He did like 200,000 or something like that. But what I would consider, yeah, I absolutely love support. I mean, I own Verizon stock, for example. I know Sneed. I don't think Sneed owns stock from carriers, and I totally respect that. My motto is buy stocks of companies you know, and so my T-Mobile stock has tanked. They hit a pivot. They hit a road bump. But I'm still betting big on Verizon. I think they're going to be awesome. I'm betting on Dish right now, and that is, I want to emphasize, a bet, and this is not financial advice at all. This is just for entertainment purposes only. But, you know, I like to support carriers I think are cool. I think if Peter Adderton launched his product and I could see what it was and I thought it was cool, I would consider supporting him. Like, dude, I just love what MVNOs are doing, and, you know, I like to support it.
Dude, I'm going to tell you a stock that no one's talking about. Nokia.
Dennis, what? They made bricks.
No, they make 5G cellular equipment that is selling like really great right now, and the revenue, they just got done doing their quarterly earnings, which was pretty good.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think it's like, I want to say it's like $4 a share right now or something like that. So it's pretty cheap. It's not a lot of money to get like risky with, but if you were me and you got in at like $2 a share.
Oh, snap, Dennis. You got a big smile on your face.
Yeah, Nokia and Ericsson are great stocks because all cellular companies, not just in the US, but across the globe, are using their equipment. The only other vendor there is Samsung, but Samsung's But those are a stock that you should look at, and AT&T is a stock that I've been buying lots of.
Yeah, I see. Just from using AT&T, my experience was so mediocre that, that's...
Dude, $25 a share is the lowest I've seen in years. It gets a good dividend, and it definitely has upside.
Yeah, that's Verizon too. Honestly, more of a dividend stock. But yeah, so that's just like what we're doing, not financial advice. The bottom line is I love supporting companies that are doing things in the telecom space that I believe in. Another example is CellMapper. So let me pull this up and just try not to show my location here, but why does it throw you in Africa as the first loading screen? But anyway, I'll actually go to Longmont so you can kind of take a peek. Take a gander. Oh, it's not showing anything. We're going to go to Denver, I guess.
While you're doing that, I just want to say I've started religiously using CellMapper, and if you look at the localized cells, my username is like always in the top 3 for like reported data entry points.
That's so cool. Yeah, I don't know how to really report too much with it, but
anyway, just load up the app in Android, let it record, and then upload the points.
So this is CellMapper. Basically, it's a website that literally shows you where the towers are. So it looks like I should go to Denver to get band 71. That's what I'm going to have to do.
You need to turn off 5G NR because that's
that's why. That's why. Anyway, whoa. Anyway, so CellMapper is a website that lets you find literally towers, cell sites, so you can see why is my performance bad here? Oh, it's because there's no tower here, or what bands a tower has on. I've been using this. I pay for premium, the ad-free experience, so there's no ads here. It's, I don't know, like $2 or $3 a month. So I love supporting them. I bought Sherry and Chris's coverage app from RV Mobile Internet Resource Center to support them. So yeah, I love supporting people in this space.
But circling back to the genesis of the question, what cell phone company do you think deserves an investment?
Ooh, this is a good question.
I have two answers ready when you're ready.
I guess. Okay. Ooh. All right. I have one definite, and I think. Do you want to go? You seem primed for this.
I'll say one, and then you say yours, and I'll say my secondary one.
Gotcha.
All right. First one, US Mobile.
Yeah, that was my first one too.
Second one, Los Mobile.
Ooh, you're going Los. They need that capital infusion to hire more employees, get off the ground.
Dude, what Carlos is doing is actually he's being a maverick right now in the MVNO-ish space right now. Like, he is the only not postpaid MNO who is selling postpaid priority access. In fact, better plans than what are typically available on the postpaid priority access and at prices that are undercutting what single line users have to pay. Now, when we start talking about multi-line or all these other discounts, it gets a little more hairy. But in general, Carlos is on point right now, especially if we're talking about the Verizon access. It has been god tier. Verizon's postpaid plans suck right now in comparison. AT&T plan, there's Unlimited Elite, which is pretty freaking incredible. And, if you need unlimited hotspot, Los's AT&T access is definitely where it's at. As far as unlimited priority data goes, it's the same thing, but still, he's charging less, and tax and fees are included, which is nice. And then he just got the new T-Mobile access with unlimited priority and hotspot.
Wow, yeah. So that'd be sick to see them launch off, and that's the review I got to do next. So I think we're gonna do. I don't like making too many commitments for videos, but we're gonna do the speed test video first. Then we got to do Los Mobile review. It's time. It's time for that.
And then the fiber versus Comcast versus
T-Mobile. Oh, yeah. So many videos.
All right. Let's answer a question from the audience because it's been a moment. Ash at 6:52 p.m. had asked us, have you been able to get AT&T Stream Saver to be disabled on tablets? They keep telling him that it's been disabled, but he can't watch anything higher than 40p. I know you had a problem with that.
So my problem, and Dennis, can you remind me that 52? Wow. Thank you for going back. Wow. Here we go. Thank you, Ash, for your comment and question. So my issue, I created my account on AT&T Unlimited Starter, which caps video to 40p. I then added an AT&T Unlimited Elite line, and I couldn't turn Stream Saver off because the initial line on the account was Unlimited Starter. When I converted all lines to Elite, actually, I deleted the starter line. But when I did that, everything worked perfectly, and I was able to get Stream Saver turned off. So, Ash, I apologize you're having issues. This, again, is part of the medium experience I had on AT&T with their back-end system. It just seems like a disaster. Unfortunately, my best recommendation, honestly, is to kind of take this into your own hands. And if you get a VPN service, I've partnered with ExpressVPN, and if you're interested, you can check them out. But pretty much any VPN service hides network traffic from AT&T, so they can't tell if you're watching video or just browsing a website, and you should get full 4K video streaming. And that's something that you can do if you're interested in.
Stetson, why don't you pick out a question, my man?
That sounds great. Let's see. Wow. So many comments. I want to thank you guys all for tuning in and commenting. And Insane Fire 10 YouTube just saying service mode on iOS 15 is insane. It's a lot better. We're still missing out on some stuff. Let me go back even farther. Oh, Emmy is saying uses privacy for both. I'm sorry. Sometimes usually when I ask you if you want to pick a question, I have a question. Here we go. Dan saying, where did you start with best phone plans? I'll do a quick synopsis on this, Dan. The gist of Best Phone Plans is I had this YouTube channel, it started taking off around 2015, 2016 when I was a senior or junior, senior year of high school, believe it or not. I had like, I think I passed 6,000 subscribers then, maybe 13,000, something like that. And then in college, I took an intro to web development course. I was like, hey, it would be really, really cool to make a website to go along with this YouTube channel, because I learned that carriers do a terrible job displaying things, basic features like visual voicemail, voice over LTE, Wi-Fi calling. So that's where the idea came from. And to make it easier to compare plans across carriers, basically everything you need on one website, I redesigned it my sophomore year. And then my senior year, I made a project with the computer science department to build it on a CMS. I'm using Webflow right now, and that's where it's hosted. And that's how I got started with Best Phone Plans. I had to pick a name, the domain name and stuff. And believe me, there are so many names you could have gone with. I went with Best Phone Plans because it was easy. Like, I don't know, no one did it, and that's what I went with. And then for the podcast, I was making YouTube videos, started the Patreon. And Dennis, you want to share how we got this kicked off and started?
Sure. Yeah. So for the podcast, what happened was I was actually a subscriber to Stetson's channel. He was starting to get into the dabble of the idea of doing like a live stream or two, and then he made the Patreon. I was one of the earliest supporters of his higher tier, where he would do like this like meet up with the fans, which is something we do to this date, although together at this point. But no one showed up. It was just me and Stetson, so it turned into like this. I think we ended up using Google Hangouts.
It was Google Meet, but I don't know if that works. So I think we went on Discord.
Right. Google Meet didn't work, so we went on Discord, and it turned into this like one-on-one conversation where I basically was like, Stetson, you know, I love.
Well, I think I said I was like thinking of starting a podcast.
Well, no, you were talking about the idea of that, but we got into the conversation of that, and I talked to you about like Stetson, these are some things that you do on the back end, because at the time, Stetson really wasn't focusing on, like, the Patreon, for example, was like a whimsical idea. Like, I was the one that sort of like made some suggestions for
100%. Dennis is 10x the Patreon.
Yeah, like I started talking to him about more of the business aspect of things, and then also I talked to him about like what I liked in the podcast and how if you did it by himself, it would kind of probably be a little bit
It would be boring. It would be really boring. I mean, the genesis for me doing a podcast is, first of all, everyone and their grandmother is doing a podcast right now. So of course I wanted to hop on that bandwagon. And I was like, maybe it would be just a good idea for me to think or talk out videos before I made them. And that will help me synthesize my thoughts, make a better video. As Dennis mentioned, that would have been just boring. It would have been the same information on repeat, more or less. And
that, and plus, you know, you can only tell the same stories so many times,
it would
right?
be just me. And Dennis is 100% right. Like, having someone else here to have spicy takes and to sprinkle in words of wisdom and knowledge has been amazing. So I want to thank Dennis 100% for joining me in this venture.
Don't thank me, man. You're the one that took the chance on some random person who didn't even have a YouTube channel. In fact, I highly, for everybody that's been watching us for a while, I highly recommend you go back to the original episode, day 1, day 0 of the podcast, because we have come such a long way from that as far as the quality of the show goes. I mean, my audio was god awful. Thankfully, Stetson was kind enough to give me this mic that I used.
That was like after that episode aired, pretty much that day or the next day, I ordered Dennis a microphone. I said, Dennis, I'm getting you a microphone.
Which, that is the most generous thing anybody has ever done out of the kindness of their heart. Now, granted, I get that we were doing the show together, but like at that time early on, I mean, I could have just up and walked, right?
Yeah, he could have left. He was like sick. I got the microphone that my plan worked.
So, I mean, I still use it to this day, and thankfully I sound great, but also something that you guys might not realize, back when the podcast first started, we didn't do cameras. I did not want to appear on camera. I had this, like, you guys know I'm more privacy centric than most people, and I was a little bit camera shy. I didn't want to be kind of spotted in public, although that ended up changing. Who was the guest that made that change? Was that when we got Ahmed on, I believe, right?
Yeah, I think it was like, we're going to have this guest on. Like, I think it'd be sick if we had the cameras turned on. It's easier because you can see when someone's lips are moving and understand how they're talking. And I do a lot of hand gestures. So, you know, like I don't know. But it's easier to communicate when you can see someone. And so I think that's where it came on.
Yeah, now we have green screens as well, which that was a little bit of inspiration for me because I didn't want people seeing my messy, not attractive back room.
Dude, our podcast has legitimately 10x or 100x in quality.
And we're at 1080p video now because you subscribe to the StreamYard.
Yeah, I pay for StreamYard. Actually, the Patreon members are paying for StreamYard, so I want to thank all of them for making this possible. And Dan is saying, Dennis, is your mic actually real? It's not plugged in. It's
plugged in via USB Type B to USB Type A.
Micro USB. Yeah, that was actually the reason I selected that microphone, is because
I wanted a simple setup that was affordable.
Simple, yeah. It was plug in and worked. And for most other setups, you actually need an audio interface, which is what I have, which adds cost. I think mine was like maybe $100, $150 on top of like a $250 microphone. And I was just like, forget it. So we're just doing the mic.
I am 99.99999% sure you were okay with getting me a thing, but I was the one that said I didn't want the complexity of having all that BS on my desk. You also offered me a fancy like boom arm, which I ended up just going with this.
Yeah.
This thing.
Oh man, Dennis, funny story on that actually. This is getting into funny story time. Look, guys, if you have questions, feel free to post them in the chat. Also, I got to do a quick pause. Dennis, am I coming through all right? Because on my end, I am lagging like crazy. Oh, man. Should I refresh my stream?
Maybe, but before you refresh your stream, let me take a quick moment to walk away, and I'll be right back.
Okay. I'll go solo for this one. So Dennis's mic is plugged in. Oh, interesting. Kranthi, this is my time to shine. So Dennis, he is a huge fan of AT&T, and he loves AT&T Elite because it's a great value. You're getting HBO Max, so he really likes that. From my personal experience, I mean, I'm very, very disappointed in the T-Mobile data breach. However, I found that I really liked their application. I really liked their website, and I love that they include taxes and fees. I thought my personal overall T-Mobile experience was fantastic. I thought it was a great value service for what you were getting, especially the free international data roaming, and I really liked them. Otherwise, I also liked what I like about Verizon is it kind of works, but it is more expensive. And then Mint or Visible. Personally, I use Mint Mobile because it's lower cost and it meets my needs. And I find the app experience and the customer service to be a little bit better. And Visible is a phenomenal option if you want something that's low cost for unlimited data on Verizon. Dennis, we were talking about what are your main phone providers? Oh, I totally misread that. I was talking about the main MNOs. I use Mint Mobile. Dennis uses AT&T.
No, you keep getting that wrong.
Oh shoot, your family's on AT&T, so I just assume, but you're on T-Mobile.
Yeah, T-Mobile is my main provider, and then I have a secondary line AT&T. Although it's really more like T-Mobile, and then I've been using the lowest mobile Verizon access religiously because Verizon has coverage like bars on phone everywhere.
All right, I gotta refresh. I am lagging like crazy. The irony, everybody, is that Dennis just got the new M1. Did you get the M1 Max?
Yeah. So 10 cores, 32 GPU cores, the decked out one. Yeah.
He got the decked out M1 Max. I'm over here trying to create content and I'm lagging. Look, my face is frozen.
It's behind the green screen, actually. It's sitting on a desk behind the green screen. Oh, my God.
All right. I'm going to restart, everybody. Dennis, take the stage. I'm going to pray this works.
Awesome. So this has become the Dennis Show, guys. Stetson's going to have to come back and rewatch this moment. You guys should clip the 118 mark for him to come back to because we're going to say all the dirty little secrets that Stetson hasn't shared with y'all. No, I'm just kidding. Stetson doesn't have anything that's not true. But let's look at the questions. Let's see. Chime, you were saying earlier that Verizon ditched Nokia for a reason. What is that reason? Because as far as I can tell, Nokia is still making some pretty useful equipment, and with the shortage going on, I don't think providers can be too picky. And you're back.
Is this? Oh, that lagged a lot. All right,
dude. Honest question here. Why don't you try swapping over to the Xfinity connection?
Oh, wow. All right. So right now, for context, I am lagging like crazy and hardwired into a symmetrical gigabit. Let me just do one for the one for the crowd here. We'll just get a, I think it's because I share my screen too. It doesn't seem to like that, but either way. So you can see, this isn't going to show. Yeah, I think we're fine. Share screen to that. Here it is. Add to stream. This is what I'm getting right now. Next light is awesome.
I'm going to guess your PC caps of 500.
No. I mean, it might. Great ping. All right. My iMac is handling it. So
I should have rephrased that by saying your router caps at 500.
Oh, that could be. I think, honestly, I might be time to pick up the new one.
Dude, we've been saying this for literally 6 to 8 months.
Yep. It's got to really ease. You know what? That's what I'll do. I'll return my AirPods and I will buy a router. And yeah.
I mean, to be clear here, that latency is, and that speed is still great, but like,
right? Like, what is going on? I'm hardwired in. Maybe is it the computer overheating? The only way to find out is switch connections. So Dennis, I'm giving you the stage again, and I'm gonna bounce.
All right.
And I'll get rid of Chaim's comment so you can. There you go.
Cool. So let's see. Sorry for the technical difficulties. I feel like this is like a frequent thing that happens, but hopefully it'll get better with time. Maybe we get Stetson a proper Windows PC as a surprise or something. That would be funny. Let's see. Oh, Debo Bop at 7:15. Dennis knew that Stetson needed a friend and said, "I got you." Thanks, man. Let's see. Okay. NH Hunin at 7:17 p.m. Asked to rank the major carriers in opinion for overall price, quality, and service. Okay. I'll give this a crack for you. The way I would rank the carriers goes as follows. I would put AT&T as number 1 overall. The reason, so Stetson, now that you're back, I'm answering a question at 7:17 p.m. from NH Union. He's asking us to rank the major carriers in our opinion for overall price, quality and service. I'm going first. So AT&T, I would personally rank as number 1. The reason is because I feel like they have the best overall network in terms of capacity and coverage. And then they also have some of the better premium plans that are out there that aren't really holding them back, specifically with AT&T Unlimited Elite. It's arguably one of the best unlimited postpaid plans that are being sold by the MNOs. And then even on things like regular Elite and their starter equivalent or whatever they're calling it, their deprioritization doesn't seem to be as drastic as, say, a Verizon. And from a pricing standpoint, AT&T is the most robust when it comes to who they offer discounts to, whether it be because you have ARP or because you're a nurse or what have you. So a lot of times you can get the AT&T service for less than the sticker price that's being labeled. So AT&T number 1 for me. Quickly followed up by T-Mobile as number 2. And the reason why T-Mobile is number 2 is because despite their network being the worst, in my opinion, out of all the carriers, they do have great plans that don't hold back the experience at the moment. Taxes and fees are included. They do some pretty attractive promotions, especially for new customers when you're talking about switching over. So T-Mobile's number 2, and then Verizon's currently in 3. They have the best... they have a very strong network, but if we're talking about capacity, at least at this present specific moment in time, it's not necessarily the most capacitive. It varies by market, but it's not necessarily the most capacitive as a whole. Their plans are honestly the biggest reason for why I'm putting them down there. They are the most expensive, with plans that really hold back your cell phone experience, especially when we start talking about hotspot data allotments, the 720p video cap, and various things like that. And just, again, the cost. They're a lot more expensive, especially when you start talking about the taxes and fees at the moment in time.
Yep. So I like everything Dennis said. I think for me personally, I mean, I'm a little bit bummed about T-Mobile because they did get hacked, and from my experience, like I think their plans are the best value. That's just my personal take. I think price to performance. Dennis, I know you love the HBO Max. Totally respect that. And I know AT&T has their awesome discount for first responders, veterans, nurses, teachers, and students. Like phenomenal discount. But I think ultimately I liked the features a little bit better with T-Mobile, the international data roaming, taxes and fees included. I mean, tax and fees included alone saves you $240 a year if you're saving $20 a month, which is awesome. I'm just bummed about the data breach, and I feel like I don't know. I feel like T-Mobile's kind of in an area where I want to see how it pans out. So I think historically I would have done T-Mobile, probably AT&T, and then Verizon. I think at this present moment, I'm gonna go. Uh, maybe I don't know. Maybe this is weird, but I'm gonna go spicy take. I'm going Verizon because I do still think their coverage is the best. 11 millimeter wave, and they've had phenomenal discounts on phones this year, which I think has been great. I think I'll go. Um, maybe AT&T. I mean, the good news is you really can't go wrong. Is that a bad fallback? I think, yeah. I'll finish ranking them. I'll go Verizon right now in this present moment. I'll go AT&T because their LTE network is awesome and coverage has been great. And T-Mobile, as much as I love them, and literally my entire city is blanketed in N41. Like, Dennis, I was trying to do a low band T-Mobile speed test, find some band N71. I couldn't find it. I was driving all around Longmont. I'd be like, oh, sweet. My phone's only getting like 30 megabits per second. I would stop. I would run a speed test and it would blast up until like 300 megabits per second. And I would be like, well, I guess there's also N41 here. So,
I mean, that's
so
why
there
you
you
need a
go.
Samsung phone so you could just turn on band 71 only.
Yeah, well, I couldn't do it. If you're doing a Pixel 6 Pro versus iPhone 13 versus Galaxy S21 speed test video, you can't do that on the other phone. So that's why.
Well, I meant you said you were trying to test band 71 is what I was getting at.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to figure out where it was and find a spot where like it only had band 71, so the other phones would also connect.
On a side note, I just wanted to say you're not like desyncing anymore.
Yeah, so internet's looking good. I did a speed test. Let's quickly.
Well, what I was gonna say is that it's definitely a router.
You think so?
Well, it's a big part of it. Wow, that's some. Is that Wi-Fi?
So this is Wi-Fi. I am upstairs. This modem is downstairs in a very bad spot.
Well, first off,
And this
the ping for being on Wi-Fi and being cable is really good. Your latency is really good.
So maybe yeah. So
but secondarily, being on Wi-Fi not bueno. That's not great. Is your upload test gonna fail?
Someone clip this. 1 hour, 27 minutes, and 37 seconds. Oh man, that was amazing. Yeah, so I was gonna say, as I was saying, the upload speed and bandwidth is being split between that speed test and this video stream, I think. So
well, yeah. I mean, that's the problem with cable providers, right? The upload speeds. Which
yeah.
to the defense of Comcast in this scenario, you're on Wi-Fi.
Yep, I'm on Wi-Fi, but I feel like that's like a lot of people use Wi-Fi, right? We should do a poll, Dennis. Right now in the chat. Do you want to do this on the back end?
Yeah,
this is called delegation. I want to do Wi-Fi.
Well, I can't.
Cellular.
You're on the Stetson channel.
Oh my God! Great call, Dennis. Yeah, so on the new channel, Dennis has access to the back end, and we can totally tag team, and it's awesome. I'm gonna do a poll right now, everybody, because I'm curious how you are watching this stream, and I want to know if you're doing Wi-Fi, if you're doing wired, or if you're on cellular. Let me get this pulled up right now. Details. Oops, I actually want to go back. I want to click this little live button.
And for people wondering why I am critiquing Wi-Fi, is that Wi-Fi is inherently just wireless in general is inherently less reliable than a wired connection if you're trying to talk, especially if you're trying to talk about comparing like actual speeds for what the provider is offering you. Like if Stetson ran a Wi-Fi test over his First Light internet provider, Next Light, it wouldn't be fair either. Like I have a pretty strong gut feeling that he's probably going to get somewhere in the realm of 200 to 400 megabits per second for his down and maybe 100 to 300 for his upload, because that's just the nature of how Wi-Fi goes.
All right, we got the poll. Ask your audience. I appreciate all of you chiming in right now. Hembel, Beckett Fitz, both on Wi-Fi. NH is on cellular. Albertizzi. So the poll is live right now. I'm on Wi-Fi. I'm on a wired connection. I'm on cellular. Cast your vote so we can get some numbers here and see what is going on. But
I mean, everything
thank
in
you.
my home is hardwired. Like, if it can
Yeah,
be wired, it's
so actually, I think when we got the internet, the Xfinity internet installed, I think this apartment is pre-wired for Xfinity. So I think I actually could plug in from the iMac to a Ethernet port right down there, perfectly placed, and get hardwired connection.
I
I have
mean,
not yet tried that.
alternatively, you could have just put the modem in your office room.
I couldn't because where the cable came in was only downstairs.
Oh, that's unfortunate. When I had my house built, even though I didn't have plans for getting cable TV, I put a coax in every room just to have that connection.
Yeah.
But
James is still saying I'm laggy.
it is the resolution is changing, but your audio is like not desynced like it was.
Okay. All right. I don't know if it's so. I do have on StreamYard, my connection is unstable because I'm on Wi-Fi.
I mean,
What's our... Wow. I mean, I would say, to be fair, it's not an unreasonable test. I'm seeing poll results right now showing 53% of you are watching on Wi-Fi, 22% on wired, and 25% on cellular. It's laggy and bad quality. Dennis, should I try switching to Wi-Fi for the other one?
I think so. Why not?
I'm gonna drop. Let's pull up results one more time just so you can see this.
Run one more speed test too.
Oh god, if I drop again, this is literally everything about this is screaming that I should get a new router.
How is
and
the latency so low for you?
That is, I don't know. Okay, internet isn't my strength. I'm into cell phone plans.
I'm just saying that is like unreal ping times for cable. Oh, Stetson, you're frozen right now because of the upload test.
It's so
Dude,
bad.
you need to turn on QoS if you ever use this connection again to reserve bandwidth specifically for VoIP.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Right.
All right, I'm dropping
ahead.
and we're coming back. Here we go.
Yeah, Chime, right? Like 5 ping over cable is impressive. I mean, I'm usually able to get like 7 to 9 milliseconds over Comcast cable connection. Yeah, like 5 is exceptionally good.
I'm back.
Oh, there is a second version of you.
Guys, there may or may not be a couple of me.
Well, the video resolution is much better.
This is all right. This actually looks pretty good. Should I pop in and do another speed test?
Yeah, because I'm curious.
This has been really fun. I really appreciated this. All right.
Where is your actual router at for the...
Yeah, so context. I don't know how to provide context while doing a live stream. I'm gonna solo this. All right, so I'm upstairs. Okay, this is me. I'm upstairs. Xfinity router gateway is like down here. Okay, in the apartment. Downstairs, upstairs, bunch of walls and the stairs in the way. For my next light internet, this is me in my room. The gateway is like here, outside. It's literally outside the room. Maybe it's 6 to 8 feet away. Like I could lie down and touch it if there wasn't a wall there. So that's what we're going on for connection. And I'm going to go ahead and run the speed test. So we have the results for Xfinity. Also, for anyone tuning in, like, how is my performance now? Am I looking better?
Yeah, you're looking good right now.
So this is on Wi-Fi. This still says Xfinity for some reason.
You need to refresh the speed test website.
Boom. Now it says next light, so that's awesome. And still great ping. Still great speeds.
And as I suspected, Wi-Fi performance significantly worse.
Dennis did call this. I think we're getting about 50% speeds right now, about half.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So there we go. Upload speed is significantly better. And I didn't drop connection. Although I am saying that my connection is unstable. So
I am proud of you. And for the sake of running a Wi-Fi speed test, I'm going to do one with, because I don't feel like messing around with my computer, but I'm going to do one for you with the Comcast connection, which I don't think I've told anybody, but I'm canceling my Comcast service to save money. But yeah, let me do that while I have it. I need to actually connect this phone to the Comcast connection. Legit, the whole reason the Comcast connection exists is just for like a redundant connection. So I don't even have this phone connected. That's literally how little I use it at this point now that I have Fios. But while I'm doing this, why don't you answer or start pulling up a question or looking for a question?
yeah, absolutely. Basam is saying new channel idea, best ISPs. Honestly, we would include that on the Best Phone Plans channel just because branding consistently, everything all in one place.
The problem
Sneed
with
is saying,
best. Oh, sorry.
yeah. Oh, because it's phone plans.
Well, no. The problem with talking about best ISPs is that, like, unlike cell phone providers, there's usually only one.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
like,
so true.
Like, that's the problem with it. And I've talked on different podcasts of why, like, home internet is the way that it is. But, like, yeah, it's very region dependent, including pricing. Pricing literally varies, like, on a house by house basis sometimes. Like, it's pretty rough. But were we gonna say? Sneeze said, I'm sorry.
Zachary is saying hashtag GoFundMe support Stetson's new router. LOL. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's router or computer. Hopefully it's better now. I did quit Chrome. I typically have a lot of things going on at once, which is just usual. That's what happens around here. But best ISP phone plans. LOL. So Dennis is running his speed test. I saw some question.
Wi-Fi, but yeah.
A question about the Pixel 6 Pro and the performance on that. So let me see if I can find it. Wow, this chat moves very quickly. Oh, here we go. This is completely different. But thank you, Basam, for your question. What are your thoughts on Visible/Google Fi flexible plan combo on a dual SIM setup with Visible being used for domestic data, Google Fi for travel? Cost could be as low as $53 after taxes. So, Basam, I love your thinking. Splitting up needs as you see fit. The truth is, I don't feel Google Fi is worth it. I recognize it is outstanding for international travel at $10 per gigabyte wherever you go. However, I still feel it's expensive and not worth it. And instead, I would consider picking up an international plan from Airolo. We had Bahadir on in one of our episodes, and he actually gave us a discount code. Wow, Dennis, those are outstanding speeds. Quick pause for Dennis's speeds results. Dennis, you want to slap those up?
Yes, this is
what's
over
your
a
ping?
Wi-Fi 5 router.
12
milliseconds. If I ran this hardwired, this would be like 9. Actually, if I ran this hardwired, it'd be like 940 down and like 41 up, and then the ping would probably be about 9 milliseconds.
There you go. All right, so about Basam. So yeah, if you check out Airolo, US Mobile also has great international eSIM plans, but you can pick a country. Let's say Canada. That didn't work. So website not working. Let's do Canada up here then. All right, let's quickly reload this. Thank you for your patience. Boom, Canada, here it is. You can see you can get a gig for 7 days for $7.50. So I feel like just on a pay-as-you-go basis, I think this is going to be more affordable. 5 gigs, $25 for 30 days. I think that's awesome. And rates are pretty similar across different countries. Like here's one for Spain. You can see $4.50 for a gig, 5 gigs for $12. Like these are really good. Better than Google Fi, you will notice. So instead, I would consider maybe doing Visible as your main line in the US and doing something else international, like Airolo or even Mint Mobile domestic if you're interested in that. So yeah, I just think this will be cheaper. And they also do have a SIM card that works. They have a global eSIM, and it works in a huge selection of countries that include this. And you can get, let's see, 3 gigs for 15 days for $24. You can get 5 gigs for 30 days for $35. It's less than Google Fi, and it just kind of depends on your usage. But yeah, I think the seamlessness of this experience is going to be great, lower cost than Fi, and yeah, that's what I got.
And we actually got a chance to test it out. Bahadir reached out
Yeah.
to us to do Airlu testing, and I had some interesting results. I was getting force connected to T-Mobile, and I had to manually force myself to connect to AT&T. I know it was better in my area, and I think you had a similar issue too, right, Stetson?
Yeah. I also, so we were testing out Airlo eSIM for the United States. They currently have a United States plan. I'm not sure if this was new or not, but I was
If I
finding it was
leaked it, my
using.
bad.
I was finding I was using T-Mobile by default, and I think you can actually choose AT&T, but you had to manually do that. So it's really cool. Dennis, this is 100% a question for you. What does 10 by 10 mean, or 5 by 5?
Sure. So I'm trying to think how to say this. Basically, Spectrum has like channel widths, right? Like there's a range for a frequency of spectrum. A 5 by 5 is just simply a measurement describing the channel width. You're taking a 5 megahertz chunk of spectrum, 5 by 5.
Yeah.
So you're
So yeah,
using 5
Spectrum
for, sorry,
download, 5 for upload.
5 for upload, correct. 10 by 10 just means it's a wired channel. You're allocating 10 megahertz for downstream and 10 megabits per or 10 megahertz for upstream.
Yeah, so I think Spectrum is basically in frequencies. And so you have, let's say, T-Mobile's 600 megahertz spectrum. They have spectrum that, don't quote me on this, but let's say it's 600 to 620 megahertz. Okay, that's the block they have. And they can allocate that as they want. It could be a 15 by 5 block. So 600 to 615 megahertz would be download, and then 616 to 620 would be upload. Or they can do a 10 by 10 block, which would be symmetrical performance for download and upload. So all of this means, even if that example was wrong, the general idea is, as Dennis said, it's the channel width. How many megahertz of spectrum in a specific channel? Download is listed first, and then upload is listed second. That's what that means.
And for the sake of getting a little bit nerdier, if you're wondering how blocks of spectrum are allocated, it's actually with letters. So there's band 12A block, band 12B block, C, D, C, E, F, and so forth. But I feel like there's a question we sort of skipped over. I'll answer it anyway. Probably not the answer that this person was hoping for, but it is Debobop's question at 738. He asked us when was the last time we were generally angry. We're all humans, and it's important to let our emotions before they consume us. So Debobop, I'm going to answer this, but probably not in the way that you were probably expecting. And if you believe me, I hope you do. If not, it's what have you. But generally speaking, I don't like physically get angry like that. Like when I get upset, it'll be a verbal thing, but usually with like concise words, similar to when I was really upset about how the T-Mobile hack was handled, right? And I talked about it on stream. Not the kind of person that just explodes. Usually I just sleep it off, or avoid out of the situation if I can. Just walk out of the situation, and I'm pretty cool. It's just my nature. I'm chill. It would really take a lot to. I'd basically have to be in a life and death situation if I was going to act in like a violent manner. It's just not my nature. Stetson, you?
Yeah, I like to think I'm a pretty relaxed person. Most recently, I wasn't genuinely angry, but I was outside speed testing, and I was cold because it was cold outside. It was windy outside, and I was hungry because I accidentally didn't eat before I left, which was a big mistake on my part. So I would say 90% of the time, just having a meal, having a snack, and I feel so much better. And that's just how I work.
Food is good. I was going to say angry is like a strong word. I think it'd be more apt to say that I get frustrated.
Frustrated, upset, disappointed.
Frustrated is a better word for me because there's plenty of things that frustrate me. Like just today, for example, I got my MacBook Pro in. I bought the 3-year Apple Care plan through Best Buy, and it's not being applied on my Apple account. Now, it is what it is. I called Best Buy, spoke to like 4 different reps, obviously stayed very calm, which worked out well. End up getting to someone from Apple. They weren't able to solve my problem immediately, but they gave me a ticket number. We got the case number, and we'll see what happens. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure it'll get resolved in some meaningful way. Worst case scenario, I cancel the subscription that I bought from Best Buy and just buy it through Apple Direct. But stuff like that happens all the time. That's frustrating.
Bottom line is you're talking to people that are on the other end of these calls, and they don't know like what has happened or what you're going through. You got to communicate to that to them. And yeah, it's just if you're a pleasant person to work with, honestly, I think that helps out a lot. So just spread the kindness. Let me know one thing that you actually that made you happy this week. How about that? Focus on something cheerful.
Yeah, and
Definitely,
I'll just say,
definitely the new MacBook Pros.
I'll just say too, anger is just not a productive emotion. It's such a waste of
Yeah,
energy. It doesn't usually accomplish anything, and the times where anger would be helpful are from a time well before civilized society, right? Like, it's just not an emotion that I try to. I had a boss who told me something very insightful that I like to really to take to heart, which is control what you can control. I can't control what the world's going to throw at me, but I can control how I respond to that. And
yeah, that was my biggest takeaway from college.
And anger management is a useful skill that you acquire through time. Whether you need to go get professional help to talk about your anger issues and learn the tools that you need, or you have acquired them throughout your life, being able to control those emotions is something that's very helpful, literally both mentally and physically, because if you're constantly angry, you're going to have all that cortisol stressing out your heart, But like Stetson said, I think happy thoughts are good. There's too much negative in the world. We should share happy thoughts.
What's something that made you happy this week?
Well, there's a few things. One, I finally got the email saying that I passed my background check for my new job that I'm going to be taking. I mean, I knew I was going to pass it, but it's nice just to have that there. So, new job, that's great. Two, my stock portfolio is performing well, which makes me happy.
Hashtag Nokia gang.
Yeah, hashtag Nokia. Third, I got the MacBook Pro in, which it's the first MacBook I've bought since 2015, and wow. Very, very happy to have that, and really get myself more involved in the Apple ecosystem, which I feel like I have disregarded for quite some time. And then fourth, this is going to sound really cheesy, but constantly being reminded by the people that are in my life that I might not necessarily realize were as close to me as possible. And that takes form in the fact that, I'm leaving my current job and I didn't realize I made so many close connections with people at my workplace. That was a beautiful thing. The fans that have been reaching out to me on Discord is a beautiful thing. I love our community. I love, don't take this the wrong way, but I love you, Stetson, the fact that we have this thing going on. I'm appreciative to all these human connections that we have, so that if something were to happen to me tomorrow, I think I'd be remembered somewhat fondly, which is a nice thing to know.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Yeah, been a great week. I'm excited and happy about the new video I'm working on. I think it's really coming together. The MacBook Pros, I love watching content on those. I'm so excited to see how those go. And yeah, honestly, connecting with you, Dennis, doing this live stream, connecting with our audience, it's so cool to be able to talk with people from around the world and just to help them. Oh, Eric's asking what the Discord is. And Eric, if you become a Patreon member or you join the channel, the entry-level perk is Discord access. Make sure if you want to get that. And it's available for all Patreon members. And it's really great. So we chit-chat up down there. And yeah.
So, Stetson, I'm just going to do a quick time check for you because I know you see you had a hard stop at 8.
Yeah. I do, actually. So we should maybe do a couple more and then wrap it up.
Yeah, let's do a couple more quick questions, and then we're going to wrap it up. Stetson has plans. Obviously, guys, I'm like a marathon man. I could go forever, but got to be respectful to Stetson's time. Ural Ortiz asked, is 5G bad for you?
I don't think so. No.
It's not. It's totally safe. I won't get super into the nerdiness of it, but just rest assured that you have nothing to worry about with 5G wireless. It's totally harmless, and it's honestly a great piece of technology that's going to help take humanity that next step further.
Awesome. I just want to say, Bassam said I nailed the pronunciation of his name, so thank you. I'm very happy. Names are very important.
I love Bassam. He said 5G is love, 5G is life.
That's like from Apple TV Plus. That's like football is life. I forget his name, but there you go.
And Debo Bop, he said, so Stetson will leave and Dennis will keep going. I can't. Stetson's got the StreamYard, and Honestly, I
man.
mean, it's pretty uncharacteristic for us to do these super long streams. We only had one really long stream. It was like 4 hours long, and it was because you
That
guys
was
were
that
really.
was crazy. That was
Yeah.
crazy.
But I
Oh,
mean,
Chain.
if you guys are missing the content, that's what the best phone plan channel is for. There's lots of stuff on there, and we're constantly uploading.
Yeah, I think next move is trying to get clips. Boom. Chain, thank you so much for the super chat. Eking in a question before we have to call it, and we're probably going to have to call it at 7:55 here. Verizon is cracking it up with C-band deployments. They're really getting ready for December to switch it on all at once. I don't think that's a question. I'm not reading a question, but that's super exciting. I'm jazzed for it. And yeah.
Bossum asked a great question. How often do we go live, Stetson?
So we go live usually on Thursdays on the Best Phone Plans YouTube channel. So if you enjoy hearing us chit chat, you can see some of our latest episodes. We were talking iPhone 13 with Sneed. We were talking about iPhone 13 and iOS 15. Let's see our most recent ones. We did Pixel 6. Does T-Mobile home internet suck? And we had the Tech Extremist on for that. Yeah, so tons of great content on the Best Phone Plans channel. You can subscribe right now at the link in the video description. And yeah, we'll figure out. I think usually it's been Thursdays at around 7 p.m. Eastern. So
we have always gone live on Thursdays, and then basically, short answer, we do 2 uploads per week, basically, in a nutshell. One is for the podcast. One is like these live streams that are like this. Live streams always happen on Thursdays because that's been my days off. It just works out. Although I'll have to find out what my new schedule.
Yeah,
we
might need to adjust the schedule. We go live at least once a week on the Best Phone Plans channel.
Right, but we also do a podcast recording every week too, which is live for Patreon members, and then later it's recorded.
Yeah, so Patreon members are there with us live during recording in the chat like you are right now, and then we publish it on Fridays. And so Friday, tomorrow, I'll be getting the next podcast episode uploaded, and Patreon members have seen it, but everyone else will be able to enjoy it as well.
And the week before this, the reason why that one was late was because of the embargo, because we talked about Google Pixel 6
Yeah,
stuff.
So basically, yeah, we have the Pixel 6 one, that one live Monday, and so yeah.
And Snarkmark, thank you for the comment, I believe. I don't know who Tim Pool is of phones, but thank you. If you want to DM me on Twitter to link me the reference, my Twitter username should pop up if Stetson actually clicks it to show it in the thing here.
Yeah. Hang on 1 second. Boink.
There we go. Yeah, at Dennis at BP3 on Twitter. We have time for like one more question, possibly.
Oh man,
what's the cheapest way to call the USA from Zambia? There's an
call the USA from Zambia. I'm gonna be honest, Kuki. I don't know. I'm not familiar with plans that are available in Zambia, so.
Yeah, I mean, all the solutions that I would say would be VoIP-based, like WhatsApp, FaceTime audio, things that don't require actually using like calling a minutes.
Yeah, so actually, here's an idea. Like, what if you got a data plan, use the hotspot functionality to make a call over cellular, and there.
Well, he's saying the internet, the problem is that the internet's just
Well,
bad.
he's saying internet is bad. I'm interpreting that as like Wi-Fi. Like, what if cellular is good and there's good data, and then you can use VoIP over cellular? Oh, also, yeah. I think one final thing to end off on.
Snark said that Tim Pool is a journalist who never removes his beanie, is on YouTube. Hey, look, I wear the beanie because I don't like my messy fading.
I like the beanie. I think it's very stylistic. Yeah. Last thing I think I want to add in here, Circled In, new website, really great. Basically, Circled In is a platform for finding and joining family plans. I'll just do an example of T-Mobile here so you can take a peek. It's not for everyone, but it's really open now. So there's tons of different pools. And you can see Magenta Max, two slots, $40 a month. Cryptomania, 2 slots on Magenta Max. Almond Jelly, verified, $30 a month on Magenta. And yeah, basically, if you want to join a circle, you can get information. You can see what the plan offers. eSIM is allowed. You can get connected devices. There's information on the cancellation policy. And yeah, so it's a great platform for finding and joining family plans if that's something you feel comfortable with. and they updated their website, and now it looks great. So that's all.
Well, guys, I want to thank everyone that's made it all the way to the end. I want to thank everyone that did super chats tonight. Your support does not go unnoticed. I highly encourage, though, that if you're not already, to become a member of the Patreon. That way me and Stetson can at least reward you in addition to that support that you're giving us in the form of extra content, as well as that way we can see you guys in the Discord, where there's lots of great communication going on, and we can spend more time talking to each other. With that being said, make sure you go subscribe to the Best Phone Plans channel. There's lots of content on there if you want more tonight. But we'll see you guys next week. I'm Dennis.
And I'm Stetson.
And
Peace.
We'll see you next week.